Hey, how you doing? I wanted to do a little update from my last Scuf Vantage review that I did a couple weeks ago. So first I wanted to just clarify, I don't hate the controller whatsoever. In casual games like Red Dead Redemption 2 that I've been playing, I absolutely love the controller. I think it's great. It's super comfortable, it feels good. In competitive games, which is more what that controller is meant for, first-person shooters, that's where the issues that I have with the controller, with the sticks and the way it acts. So I just wanted to clarify that. There was comments saying that I was being picky, which I wasn't being picky. I'm not the only person that has had issues. Scuf has addressed that there are issues, so obviously it's not just me being picky about a $200 controller I paid for. So today I had an email about the firmware version 0.8. So when I got the email, it talks about mailing the Scuf controller into Scuf to get it fixed, which I am not a fan of that. And I was actually ready to talk to customer service at Scuf and just tell them I'm ready to just send it back and get a refund. So then there was a more information tab at the bottom of that email. So I'm going to read through what it says from the update site. So it says the Scuf Vantage is a feature-rich licensed PS4 controller that pushes the boundaries of innovation, and as such we will occasionally provide free feature enhancements and bug fixes. We are aware that a limited number of our customers have experienced occasional bugs related to our firmware, and we wanted to let you know that those issues have been resolved with version 0.8. Firmware 0.8 fixes the following isolated and infrequent issues. It's not infrequent if you have the issues, it is quite frequent, but optimizes thumbstick responsiveness, addresses cases that relate to dead zone or drift, resolves occasional loss of remapping settings when turning off PS4/Pro console, fixes Bluetooth pairing issues which have been identified on occasions for wireless controllers, addresses an issue that could have caused hypersensitive triggers. How do I know if my Scuf Vantage needs updated firmware? If you are not experiencing any issues, there is no action required on your part at this time. That's fairly obvious. If your Scuf Vantage shipped after November 3rd from Scuf Gaming, your controller already has the latest version of firmware installed, so there is no action required on your part. If you are experiencing issues and your Scuf Vantage shipped from Scuf Gaming prior to November 3rd, then your controller most likely does not have the most recent version of firmware 0.8. If you are experiencing issues and you purchased your Scuf Vantage from GameStop prior to November 14th, then your controller most likely does not have the most recent version of the firmware 0.8. So options for updating to firmware version 0.8. We understand that that a number of customers have been patiently waiting for an update from us. Scuf Gaming apologizes for the inconvenience this may have caused you and recognizes the importance of getting updates to you. If you are one of the few customers that have experienced issues, we are releasing a downloadable firmware update which we are still testing before it's made available on our site. Please note that the initial version of the downloader will only work on computers that run Windows 10. If you would rather get the update directly from us now, we are offering a program free of charge to update your controller for you right away. See the below to learn more. So what it says is, in the below is that you go to their site, you fill in your serial number, give them all your information, and they will direct you to a UPS web form, and you're going to print a UPS label, which they're going to pay for. You'll send it to Scuf. The problem that I have with sending it in, first, I live in Japan, so it would take, it took like 2.5 or 3 weeks to get to me, so it's going to take that long to get back to Scuf. This part right here. After we receive your Vantage, we will update your controller and get it back to you within 1 to 2 weeks. So as you know, a firmware update probably takes a minute max to do it. Then they just have to probably run a diagnostic or just, you know, test it out and say, hey, it's good, ship it back to you. But they know that they're going to get flooded with people sending the controllers back in. So it is smart for them to say 1 to 2 weeks. But if they would do that in my case, and then send it back to me, you know, we're talking about more than 2 months before I would even get the controller back. So mid-January is when I would see it back. So to me, that's not even an option. So I am going to wait for the downloadable version and do it myself, which hopefully it comes fairly soon. Yeah, so another problem I have with sending it in, and I think everybody should, is every time they have a firmware update, I mean, you can't just send this thing in and then, you know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks without your controller. It just makes it pointless, and it's kind of silly to keep chasing, you know, this controller. So hopefully if they do make this downloader, they can push the firmware updates each time to the downloader. Like you would do like a BIOS firmware update, something like that, where you just download the newest update and then just do an update. I'm hoping that's what happens. So another thing with the Vantage, I talked about how much I dislike these sticks. And like I said, I think it's where I live. I live in an extremely humid place, so these sticks they're just slippery to me. So the regular PS4 sticks is what I got. I got some OEM ones off Amazon, and they feel fine. I like the shape of them. I like the way they feel. They're not slippery, so that's good. Yeah, so once the downloader comes out, I will update the Vantage. I'll test it out, and then I'll put out another video to say, hey, it's good or it's, you know, no good. And if it's no good at that point, I'm more than likely going to send it into Scuf, which is what I told them. If your firmware doesn't fix it, then I'm kind of done with it. And yeah, so hopefully, I'm hoping it comes out soon, and then I'll see you in the next video. All right, I appreciate you guys coming. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. I try to answer every question that gets put out there. So, okay, thanks. Bye.